Hello everyone. Am I audible? Can someone please confirm whether am I audible?
Yes, you are audible. We can hear you.
Okay. Hello everyone. My name is Shri Banerjee and I'm your co-lead and I warmly welcome you all to your first policy Manthan. I hope you have read everything about the guidelines of the policy Manthan. But let me repeat it once again. You are supposed to turn on your cameras while speaking and you are supposed to speak for minimum 2 minutes, max 3 minutes. And while speaking, please don't be rude or please don't use any offensive words or any offensive thing. Just be yourself and be confident. Okay. I request all of you to start writing your name in the chat box so that I can call you by the sequence. And also, guys, one thing, Policy Manthan is not your typical meeting or a session. You guys need to be very interactive because we are also very busy right now. It's not like we have a free time. So I want all of you to respond at least and just write your names quickly. And after every speaker is done, please appreciate them at least with your emojis. Okay, and please turn on your cameras, guys. Please turn on your cameras. That's the most important part of this. We are in a virtual internship, so we need to see all of you through your cameras only. Yes, I have some names here. Only two of them have written their names, but let's start with them. Savni, you can go first.
Hi, Shri. Am I audible?
Hello. Yes, you are audible.
Okay. So, good evening, everyone. The fact that we are discussing this topic is education in India preparing students to learn or obey very much proves that this tension exists in the system. And this tension, I feel, is nothing new to us. It has been prevailing since ages. Let's talk about ancient India. Even in ancient India, there was Gurukul system wherein the gurus, the shishya, he was supposed to pay strict adherence to the guru, and hence we have historically embedded this system, and we have become naturally accustomed to it. Even the Britishers, they incorporated the modern education, but again, there was very little scope of critical analysis. And had there been little critical analysis, we could have gotten independence way before 1947. So I feel we have become naturally accustomed to it, and another thing I wanted to bring in this meeting was my own experience during my school education. In school, we were supposed to read the NCRTs, and here I have the NCRT with me. There were two sections. One was the question part, and one was the to-do activities. I hope you can see it. And the two activities were where we could we could showcase our skills, our innovations, but unfortunately we were never asked to do that. That part was skipped, especially in my school. So yes, the teachers never felt the need to bring it on, but I feel that there is a ray of hope in new education policy. Although unfortunately I wasn't the part of the curriculum of NEP, but I see my juniors and I see them incorporating their practical skills in through the internships, and I feel that there is some hope, and I'm optimistic about it. So yeah, that's it.
I love the way you show that NCRT thing. I'm also a CBSE student, so I completely relate with that. And it's not just about your school. In my schools too, those parts were cut off. And I just wanted to ask everyone, does NEP really do that? Because I am an NEP student. I don't feel like it's giving me an opportunity to actually think about it, because it's like we have so many different subjects. We just need to read about those subjects and then give exams. So it's like a very hopscotch thing. Like, so I think that NEP still needs to work on this. And by the way, love the way you presented your facts. And guys, once again, I'm repeating, I will not be repeating this again. Please turn on your cameras. And when a speaker is finished, please appreciate them using your emojis. I hope you all can do that in Zoom. You guys are not kids that I have to teach you. And now I would like to invite Himani, please. Himani, you can go next.
Hi, hello everyone, and my name is Himani, and I would like to bring my perspective to this topic that we are discussing today. That is the education system of India helping the students to think or just to obey? So, as I have been a history student, I would like to go to the roots first. How this psychology or how this habit has been developed through generations. So, I believe this has been inculcated in ourselves through the modern education system. How the Britishers were only interested in producing clerks and officers who would help the administration run smoothly and not to foster innovations or to foster leadership, but to just produce some people who would work as bridges or just beneath them to run the administration smoothly. And kind of inculcated or this has kind of inculcated the fact where obedience has been rewarded instead of originality. And through generations, this has seeped into the psychology of students as well. I believe that a lot of students like me, we believe there are only two safe choices, like either doing a task completely perfectly or not doing it at all, like not even attempting it at all. And this creates a wide spectrum or a wide gap where there is perfectionism on one end and there is procrastination on one end. These two situations or two circumstances are so different, yet they have the same root, and that is the fear of failure. Because we have been taught that there is only one right answer, and where we can produce our originality and where we can think, reflect, that opportunity has not been provided to us. As Samir has rightly mentioned, even if the books had the topics where the students could show their practicality, they could show their reflective nature, that curiosity that was never fostered in our schools as well. And to this, I would say that the worth of a student has been tied towards giving the right answer as per the teachers or as per the curriculum. And this has kind of seeped into our mindset that how only beginners, like how experimentation is something related to fears of failure. And this has limited potential leaders to becoming mere followers only. But as we are seeing that national education policy and national curriculum framework as well, they talk about flexibility, they talk about creative thinking, they talk about problem solving. But how are these things being implemented and not just mentioned in the documents only? For this, we need to inculcate a lot of things in the classrooms and not just in the documents only. Firstly, we need to reform our assessment systems, and by reform, I mean that we should be able to assess the students on the topics or on the parts which help them broaden their horizons as well. I remember when I was giving my board exams, there were two questions which were value-based questions, and that was a new addition at our times. But I still believe that addition has not been implemented right now as well properly. So we could work on these things where students are being assessed so that they could think, they could learn how to think as well also. Another thing is that we need to invest heavily in our teachers as well so that they can foster the mindset of asking questions instead of silencing them. And lastly, I would say that we need to tackle the stigma of being a beginner. because every master was once a beginner. And if we don't allow ourselves to be beginners at something new, we won't be leading the world. So I believe that education should not be something that should produce rule followers who are just standing in line waiting for just guidelines or instructions. There should be something that the higher self of a human being that we aspire to achieve. They should foster that as well. And thank you so much for listening to me.
Yes, I love the way you spoke about how teachers, the way you spoke about it just reminded me of one of my fellow interns. She is with my batch. She was with my batch in Sarkari school, and she just spoke exactly the way like you do. And she used to say one thing that everything on paper looks very good, but in reality, it is not there. So the documentation part was very good, and I love your energy, the way you spoke about it. So you did a very good job. And
Thank you
now
so
I
much.
would like to now I would like to invite Rakshit.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible. Please go ahead.
So, yeah. So, greetings to everybody. I am Rakshit Tiwari from University of Calcutta, and like the general overview is focusing upon Indian education system. So, I will be differing it a bit, and I will be focusing and specifying it to the Sarkari school or government schools only. So, before drawing to any conclusions, whether we are only preparing students for thinking or to obey the teachers, we need to just discuss few things before. And I will be speaking mainly upon with my personal experience, as both of my parents are government teachers. So, like the condition of government schools are not very good. First of all, they lack teachers. There are shortage of teachers precisely in West Bengal. Like we all are acquainted with what happened recently. There are lack of teachers, and additionally teachers are the engine of education. Without teachers, education cannot run. So we have to stress upon the role of teachers. Teachers have to encourage the students to think. They have to design the curriculum, they have to design their lectures in a way that encourages the student to think, to ask questions, to reflect upon what they are learning. And if they don't do so, they are being paid very good amount of sum for their labor. But if they don't do their responsibility properly, if they don't follow it, what will happen? They are just they are just doing like harm to the nation. Sorry, they're doing the harm to the nation. So this was the first thing which we need to focus. Secondly, there is the data from annual status of education report, which states that the condition of students in government schools precisely is very very poor. Like the students of even say suppose class 8 9 are suffering with their basic skills of reading, writing, numeracy. Why? Because I don't know you are acquainted with or not, but there is a rule in according to right to education act, under the section of no detention, that even if a student is failing in any class, he or she should be promoted to the next class according to her age. So although this was discouraged, but still it is being practiced, as my parents have said it's frequently that it is being practiced in majority of the schools over here. And because of this, what happens, like the intentions, like the very motivation to study becomes faded out in the students, and they are like avoiding the hard work for that. So we need to we need to avoid this situation very quickly, because this is training. And another issue, the infrastructure. For example, the government has provided computers to each and every government schools, but you know what, there are no government computer teachers in the schools. There is no curriculum in the schools for students to teach, and they okay, teach only what is mouse, what is keyboard, but they don't have a curriculum for it. They don't have any exams for it. How will like India or the government school student, they are mainly poor students who are not having much resources to invest in these things, so they are facing a lot of issues. And another thing, the last thing, is economic status. They come from poor economic background, which is limiting their nourishment, which they are not available, they are not having adequate amount of nutritious food, which is limiting their cognitive abilities. So we need to focus on this. We need to, like, the document, for take the example of NEP, it has done a lot of reforms in paper, but actually if you go to the grassroots level, you will find there has been nothing. There has been no change since last 10 to 20 years. So with that being said, thank you.
Yes, Rakshit.
amazing job. I mean, it just gave a totally different perspective. And I'm also from West Bengal, so I just know the thing about infrastructure. And also, I just love how you gave a totally different perspective and the way you talk about the government schools. I'm from a government school too, and during my school times, like every week we used to go to the computer lab only to sit beside the computers and write what ma'am or sir was teaching us, but not actually using the computers. So that's a very
I would
important
like to
thing.
add a few things in this computer regard. May I?
Yes, yes,
Like
go
yeah,
ahead.
uh, so I said about this computer issue now, but I am from a private school, and you know what? Each and every week we were at least assigned three classes for computer labs. But I have seen that not being happening in, like, we had computer as subjects. I had information technology as my additional subject in class 10, but these things are totally lacking in Sarkari schools. So this is an issue which I highlighted,
Yes,
like the
that's
gap
an
between private
issue.
and government schools.
Uh, I totally think that there is a gap, but I also think because there's a kid I am tutoring right now, he's in seventh, he's in private school. They're also not being taken to the computer labs because they feel, because their teacher, he literally tells me that their teacher said कि तुम computers को तोड़ दोगे. तो इसी वजह से I feel like कि not all private schools also foster that, but the gap you shown was very beautiful. And yes, well done. I love the way you spoke about all of that. And now I would like to invite Ishita.
Good evening, everyone. Ishita here. So, I just wanted to bring the fact that memorizing plays such a big role in our education system. So, when we talk about whether education system is training us to think or obey, memorizing plays a huge role in it because when we are told to memorize, we are accustomed to follow a certain pattern, a certain given sample, as we spoke about in the previous meeting as well. All of us were depending on a certain kind of material to see the pattern and follow it. So I think this memorization becomes a very big part of how we learn to obey rather than to think about things. And analyzation and comprehension is missing fully in our education system, I feel. And there is no sense of research which we are taught school level. Okay, I understand, but even in college I've done my BA political science and economics, and we did not even have a subject of research, which I think is very necessary for subjects like this, because this is what we are going to do in the future, whether it's professional work environment or masters. Dissertations are very important, research is very important, and these are the main things which aren't even included in our curriculum. We are just made to memorize and write exams, and I think exams also, when it comes to that, there's a time period on it. So I think we are preparing, like the education system is preparing students for a certain amount of time, saying till your exams you have to do this and then that's all. It's not, they're not preparing lifetime learners. It's just time constrained. And I would also like to talk about NEP. So, as everyone mentioned, I think NEP on papers looks very, nice, and it feels like, okay, there is some changes. But me being the first batch of NEP for a BA degree, it was not, to the up to the standards or up to the marks, because we had great opportunities where we could actually, learn a lot about, because we had an option to choose an open elective where we could choose across other disciplines, any subject every semester for the first 2 years. And when this is such a great opportunity, because there were really good subjects, like someone who's doing computer science can take up psychology and stuff like that. But again, this comes back to giving exams. They don't learn something new. They again are learned how to memorize the subject and give an exam and take credits for it, because you're doing something different in an open elective. But it again does not, teach you anything valuable. You won't remember it after that semester is over. So I think NEP is definitely a good initiative, but it's not being practiced as well as it should be. Also, I would like to mention there was another subject we would have called SEC, which is skill enhancement course. So this also would, actually make a big difference. It was if it was implemented properly. But for us, it became just a thing of attendance, and it just became a thing of you have to do this because you have to get the credit. So people would not want to actually enhance their skills as the course suggests. They would just do it for the sake of the credits and the attendance. So but the subjects in that also is very nice. It has stuff like entrepreneurship and very practical kind of subjects, but again they theorize it and they make it very exam and MCQ based, which is I think at least MCQ wise it's okay. You have to think about it a little bit, but the exam pattern itself is very it makes you obey at the end of the day. Thank you.
Yes, just talking about OE and SEC just brings back all the trauma from my first and second years. Right now in my third year. So the thing she spoke about other electives, I had taken maths for it, and it was literally the worst decision I could have ever taken for, because our maths teacher was a double PhD holder, and he used to have six different ways for each and every question, like a simple percentage question. he used वो बोर्ड को छह भाग में डिवाइड करके लिखते थे वहां पे कि ये इसको ऐसे कर सकते हैं, इसको ऐसे कर सकते हैं, और मेरा दिमाग लिटरली शॉर्ट सर्किट हो जाता था. एंड the SEC part, I had taken history in it. It was just something कि इससे marks बढ़ेंगे, CGPA बढ़ेगा, बस कुछ ज्यादा उसमें था नहीं. So yes, and coming back to Ishita, so sorry for that. I love the way you spoke about your personal experience, and this just brought back all the trauma memories. And yes, a very great job. Now I would like to invite, sorry, now I would like to invite Vani. Vani, are you there?
Hello,
Yes.
am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Okay, thank you. So as most of us have highlighted very good points about the historical aspects and the issues that are there, I wanted to talk about how India is definitely has the potential. Our policies definitely have the potential to create people who actually think and are innovative. But sadly, we are stuck in a place where we are definitely obeying. And it is not just about policies or the government, it is also about the society, or the teachers, or how we think. For example, as we all are mentioning about NEP and the 2020 NEP and the 2025 NEP, and how much difference has this policy made from now NEP is giving people the ability to choose what their programs can look like. They can go from psychology to something in science to something in history, which is amazing. But at the end of the day, what is happening in classrooms is no matter how many resources you're providing, no matter how many policies you're providing, we are still narrow minded. For example, this is something I saw in my school. Now, I'm sorry, I graduated 5 years ago, so things might have changed. But we had Educom. We had this like digital board where you can study, which is amazing because not everybody is able to just mug up things and write down and understand. Sometimes, if you're able to watch a video, that just give you a lot of memory retention and understanding. But then it all comes down to if you're watching an Edicom, you are wasting time, you are not paying attention. That's how it's seen. But there are going to be some students back in the class that have actually understood what was supposed to happen. Now they know what zamindari was because they were not able to understand what the flow chart meant. So the issue is that even if, at one point we do have policies that are great. We are talking about competency based learning. We are giving children, giving emphasis to STEM. We are now actually acknowledging children who want to study art, and it's not just a failure to be a student that wants to be in psychology. We are actually acknowledging things, but it is still a problem because no matter how many policies you bring on paper, people don't change. Even to this day, there's a reason why there's so many children who are applying for JE and mains exam, and there are very less people who want to go to art school or fashion school, or it's something that is only for rich people. If you are somebody who wants to do fashion, well, congratulations, you need a rich father, or else you are not going to do that. So these are a lot of problems that we have, where India is capable of having a thinking based education system, where we have like multidisciplinary, we are giving importance to vocational training, but it all boils down to, are you somebody who is going to accept your child when they say that they don't want to be a doctor, maybe they want to be a therapist? Then you're saying that, why do you want to be a madman's doctor? And then the whole system about rote learning, where you're mugging up. Now we all know, we have all created projects. The project's focus was, have this in your project. Your project has to be shiny, it has to have tape and glitter. What is in the project, it does not matter. If a student actually was putting effort and doing reports and analysis, and their answer maybe did not stick to what a CBSE invigilator wanted, well, they are not going to get 20 out of 20, it's going to be a 17 out of 20. The child is not going to do anything. So even if I wanted to be a thinking based student, it might cost me 3 marks. So I might as well just be pack of the herd and do what everyone is doing, and just put a pink sellotape and keep quiet. Now, as I'm saying, yesterday, West Bengal Secondary Education Board, I hope I'm right when I'm saying this, issued a statement which clearly stated that for the selection of class 10th examination, they are not supposed to ask any controversial questions. They're supposed to just stick with the syllabus and do what they're saying. So, when we're talking about class 10 students, these are 15-year-olds. They are going to be in 2 years, be 18-year-olds. They're going to have a right to vote. If you don't let these children think, if you don't let these children answer political questions, they are only going to be dumb kids who just do what everyone is doing. They are only going to follow the trend because everyone is voting for this person. I'm going to do so too. If everybody says this policy is good, I'm going to say so too. We are not letting children think. The statement clearly said, do not ask questions that tarnish the board's reputation. Now, over here we have to question, is board's reputation more important than a country's future? Is it that bad that education is so intertwined with politics that we cannot take criticism? We must remember, I mean, sorry, this is definitely deviating, but India is a democracy. If we do not question, if we do not think, we cannot be a democratic country. So education is way bigger than what stream I'm choosing. It is very important to have a country that lets kids think, because they are a future. Thank you.
Like Rakshit, she brought about a totally different perspective in it. And I also love the way you said that India has a lot of potential for all of these vocational skill courses. In also textbooks when we were in schools, they were parts, but we were not told to do so because the teachers weren't paid to do so, or the teachers didn't bother to do so. So that's a very important question we had. And also, Vani, amazing the way, and it was very good. It was very good. I liked the way you talked about it. And now I would like to invite Manisha, please.
Hi everybody, am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Easy. Sri Didi, I just tried to turn on my camera, but it is showing that Zoom call is not allowed to turn your camera. I don't know. I just tried a lot of time, but it's not happening.
I have allowed everyone to turn on the cameras, but it's all right. You can just speak with the camera off.
Okay. So
Hello,
my
am I audible?
yeah, you are audible. May I start now?
Go ahead. Yes, please go ahead.
Okay. Uh, So it was very good to hear all of your thoughts about this topic, and I was really amazed by the good points you all have put. So, I just want to share my real stories. Like when I feel the education system in India is really, expecting students to obey them, not to be a critical thinker or a good thinker. I remember when I was in my sixth or fifth class, or maybe lower classes. So our teacher just told us to, memorize pages after pages. They told us you have to be very, very accurate with the history dates, when and where was the war fought. You have to revise and wrote every formula and definitions you have in your books. And when somebody just stand up and curiously ask ki, why ma'am, why have to revise the exact date in our books, and how this formula has derived. So they just told us one thing, because it's in the book, and and you are expected to remember all the dates, because you are a good student, or this is the thing which which education system expects from you. So that time I didn't understand like what they're talking about. Are we a machines or a human being? We are, just told to memorize every each and date, especially in the history books or the formulas in our math book. So I just don't know what is happening. So after that, when I entered in my 11th or 12th class, I took humanities. So I remember one time I was giving a test of political science. So there was a question about, discuss the thing, write your own opinion. What do you think? So that time I ask my teachers कि सर हमें 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 हमारी ही ओपिनियन लिखनी है, पर जो बुक्स में इसका पॉइंट्स दिए हुए वही हमें लिखना है. तो सर ने कहा कि नो नो प्लीज डोंट रिपीट व्हाट्स इन योर टेक्स्ट बुक, शेयर व्हाट यू थिंक, व्हाट यू बिलीव. So that time I was like, how how like I'm not getting exact word. I'm so sorry. Like how hypocrite our school education system is. So yeah, that's for the first time when I felt like my opinion matter. It showed me that, education system is just about marks. It's all about developing your own voice, developing your personality, presenting or telling what you think, what you believe, what you want to share, what you think, what changes recommendation you want to have in the system. So yeah, this is the thing I faced or I realized when I was in 10th, 11th, 12th classes. So I think our school education system also expects student to be obedient in many ways. Like our teachers or school expect students to have a very neat, clean notebook. Have to check the notebooks by your teachers at a very regular time period. You should write right answers in your exam sheet. They expect a quiet classroom. All the students should remain quiet when the teacher not in the classroom. Like they prioritize obedience, I think, over curiosity. So I think there should be change, because we are really taught to challenge ideas even when we don't agree with them. They just told me to, you have to walk in a certain path which we are telling you. You are don't allowed to create your own path. And when some students try to be, just stand outside of a crowd, they just told them कि नहीं ऐसा नहीं चलेगा, ये अब आगे जाके इतना नहीं चल पाओगे, आपको इस क्राउड में ही रहना है. So yes, I think education in India is slowly changing nowadays, because yeah, it's still more about obeying than thinking. But yeah, in the recent times I think our education system has changed, because I believe true education should make us ask question, imagine solution, create experiment, ask questions, be creative as we want to, and see the world differently, see the world or things in our own perspective, not just saying yes to everyone, to every opinion. Yeah, you should respect what the other one is saying, but you are also allowed to put your opinion in front of the people. You should also, I think, train to stand by your opinion. Should you should be confident by your views, what you are thinking. So I think maybe one day our classroom will value imagination as much as instruction they are valuing. Until then, I think it's up to us, it's up to the students to keep thinking, to keep questioning, and to learn our own ways. So, yeah, thank you.
Very well said. And the whole thing you said about write your opinion, for me, it's a whole scam because when I was in school, I asked my teacher the same question. They just told me, no, just write what you have been taught in the class. And once I had written my own opinion, it was a 5 marks question. I got two because I didn't match with what the teacher had said. So for me, it's a whole scam. And about the whole change thing you said, Manish, I completely agree with that. Change is coming, but it is coming in a very slow process. It's a very slow process because right now I am in college, I'm in my third
Yeah,
year
yeah.
pursuing Bachelor of Arts. Um, it is still there. Like we have to obey our teachers. We have to do what our teachers say. We have to write what our teachers say in the exams. So I still feel that we are a long way ahead from just we are a long way away from getting the whole thing about letting the
Yeah,
students
yeah.
think for themselves.
Yeah, yeah. I also agree with you
Yes,
that the system is changing, but it will take a time to improve completely.
yes, yes. Well said. Now I would like to invite Avni.
Can I speak after two or three members? I'm feeling a bit nervous right now.
Yeah, sure, you can do that. Okay,
Thank you
before that,
so.
I just wanted to say something. I just totally forget about it. Guys, I want all of you to speak with your cameras open. If you are having any problem with your cameras, just leave the meeting and rejoin. All right, just speak with your cameras open. All right. Now, so Avni, you will go after Chaitanya and Krishti. Is that all right?
Okay.
Yes. So Chaitanya, you can go next.
So, hello everyone, am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Okay, so I would like to start by sharing my viewpoint of how I look at the obey versus thinking situation. So, how I look at it is like rote learning versus holistic development. Because in my viewpoint, when I think of obey, I am drawn to rote learning because when you are made to rote learn. You are just told to obey a particular order that just learn these particular things and these things will come in exams and just do it, just obey the orders and you will be rewarded fruitfully. Versus when you are taught to, when you are allowed to think, when you have the freedom to think, then it is not limited to any curriculum that you are studying. It is a skill that you can implement anywhere and everywhere. So this is how I look at it. And for the development of these thinking skills, for the holistic development of a children, according to me, there are three things that are very crucial that need to be there in a child's journey. That is number one, the curriculum that is being taught. Second is the extracurricular activities, and third is the sports. So I'll come to each one of them one by one. Starting with the curriculum. So by curriculum, I don't want to get into what is taught and taught, but how it is taught. Can a child ask a question while the teacher is, you know, teaching in the class? Is the freedom to ask questions there? Because if that is not there, then that is not doing any benefit to the children. Because in most of the schools, when the curriculum is being taught, then they are just then they are just taught the what of the situation and not the why of the situation, not the how of the situation. Because why and how are the questions that can be asked in every subject. You take up social sciences, maths, Hindi, English, in whatever subject, these questions can be taken. So these are very important. Secondly, is the extracurricular activities. So I know many schools where extracurricular activities is just an event that the school uh, that the school tries that it happens once a year and that is sufficient for them, or there is a passionate teacher that will conduct those events. But if we think closely and if we look at the situation very closely, then that's not obviously enough, because extracurricular activities need to happen all around the year so that every child is able to participate in them. Because when only two or three events happen, then not every children is allowed to participate in them. So but we need every child to develop those skills. So that is there. And thirdly, there's the sports. Now, I think it does not matter if you are studying in a private school or a government school. The way Indian schools look at the sports period is very depressing, because they just because they just think that it should be there in the timetable. It just needs to happen once a week. But my argument is, why should it not happen once a day? Because the skills that you learn in sports are real skills. I still use the skills that I learned by playing cricket, the teamwork, communication, leadership skills. That are the skills that you are using in longer run. So that needs to happen. Without playing sports, even for example, a sport that is kabaddi, that has its origin in India only. Now for people who don't play sports, it might just seem a sport that is very physical. You need to have a big body to play that. But if you closely look at it, you will find out that it is very tactical. You need to make strategies to play it. So that is very important part of the sports. That is the mental health also improves while playing sport. The physical health improves. So sports is a very crucial part of a child's journey, and that needs to be there. So yeah, I was. That's all from my side. Thank you.
I love the way you divided the thing is into three parts. And also the sports thing you said. In India's, it's like कि तुम खेल रहे हो तो तुम थोड़ी ना रोहित शर्मा बनोगे या विराट कोहली बनोगे. That's the whole perspective about it because people think that sports are just for fun, not you can't choose it for your career. And also, during my school times when I was in KV, my teachers used to take those sports period for their extra classes, and that was some of the major things which used to happen during my school. Yes, very well spoken. Now I would like to invite Christy, if I'm pronouncing it right.
Krishti is
Uh,
absolutely right. So,
okay.
my focus is going to be on our curriculum as well as, the basic culture that we kind of focus on during schools. So, throughout my school life, I distinctly remember that we had to follow a lot of nonsensical rules, which made no sense. So, suppose we had to ask permission to drink water, we had to ask permission to go to the washroom, we had to keep our hair a certain length. Uh, I am from a convent school, and we had morning assemblies each day. And I remember it used to be in the middle of the summer. It used to be 45 degrees outside. People used to be fainting at the back, and we still used to have our morning assemblies continuing. So at that time, I found that quite weird. You know how these weird rituals used to go on in the school? But again, we do not say anything because we would most definitely be penalized for it. And I think this kind of sets the tone of my argument for today. So, my point is that in India, almost blind obedience is expected out of each and every child. You can argue this has a bit to do with our own culture and our own traditional values, where we put elders on a sort of a pedestal that whatever they say is right, whatever they say is something we have to follow. Like children are taught to respect their elders before anything, like any other useful values. We're like बड़े जो बोल रहे हैं वो उनकी बात सुनो. But as time went on, I also realized this is a form of social conditioning, which left a very deep mental scar on young generations. See, when you force someone to respect the other person and obey the other person, the difference is not born out of actual consideration and esteem, but it is a form of conformity which startles creative growth, inquisitivity, and individuality. Their own faculty of reasoning is stunted as a result of it, which we are seeing now. You know, since in our education system, we are taught
to, like I said, rote memorization plays a very instrumental role in our education system. But we have to also look at the larger picture. When in a practical setting, these skills are not going to help us. If you are in a meeting or you're in a debate in a professional setting, you're not going to go, wait, oh, I have not memorized that chapter. Let me open my notes. You need to be present in the moment. You need to be spontaneous. And like I said, this over reliance on obedience at the cost of curiosity and creativity is also reflected in the curriculum. In India, there's a trend that, the closer you write to whatever is written in your textbook, the higher marks you get. There's also this concept of word limit that is not present in any other country. So I'm an English honors student. We have a word limit that for 15 marks, we have to write at least 600 words. And the more you write, the better marks you get. Again, very stupid. I never get the concept of that. So if you look at other countries like Finland and Canada, you will notice a stark difference. Instead of the focus being primarily on exams, the shift is more towards practical solutions. So let's say group projects, discussions, debates, quizzes, presentations, those are used to judge a child's capability and aptitude. Now, I won't say that, it is all hopeless. There's some hope. NEP has, shifted the focus towards conceptual clarity. It also emphasizes problem solving skills, ethical values, digital literacy. It has also adopted more experiential learning systems like hands on learning, storytelling based pedagogy, and more art and sport based education. I think, in my conclusion, I would like to say that a school should be a place where a person should grow, succeed, make mistakes, fail, get back up, and try again. The aim should not be building followers, but leaders. So the growth is slow, but it's not stagnant. It is there. Thank you.
Very well spoken. About the whole assembly thing. It was very brutal. And the thing gets even worse when the principal comes and just says, कि मुझे बस दो शब्द कहने हैं." And that two shab turns into a whole 2 hours. So it's a very painful thing. It was a very painful thing. And also the about respecting the elders. It's true. Like we have been taught कि तुमको elders को respect करना है, teachers को respect करना है, parents को respect करना है, relatives को respect करना है, even when you don't want to. Um, very well spoken, Krishti. Again, I'm pronouncing it right. Yes, so very well spoken. And now I would like to invite Safia. Safia, is that right? Yes, she's in the meeting. Um, Safia, you are
Hi.
not
Yeah.
audible. Okay. Yes.
Yeah. Uh, Hello, I am Sabya. And honestly, I think Indian education system teaches us to mostly obey the teacher. Like in even my school times, I remember how questioning things is seen as a arguing or disrespect for teachers. Almost, almost all of the time, we just chase for that one perfect answer in our textbook, and all this thing will eventually kill our curiosity and creativity. And even a single student or few students care about the understanding the concept, they just wanna hear that it is not in our syllabus, or it is not about I don't have a time, or I have to finish my portion, like that thing. And uh, so I personally believe teachers are the one who should encourage students to think, uh, to uh, to grow. And even another thing is, I think it's not only about teachers, it's about what we are doing. Personally, as a NEP batch student, like we have lots of subjects, but we are like we don't really care about that subject actually. We just go there and study it. We really don't want to understand the subject because it's something like uh, forcing us, like someone talk about OEP, like OE, SEP, and other, like there are not just these two subjects, there are like lots and lots of subjects. Like as a economics and psychology student, I have to study microbiology. Why should I study microbiology? Like it's like nonsense for me personally. So I don't even care about this. So it's not only about teacher, it's also about what students are interested in. So if there was a subject which I am personally interested in, maybe I care about this. So it's not only about teachers encouraging thing, it's also about students' interest and their motivation for the subjects and study. So I personally believe that students should learn what they want to learn in school and college, and it's not only about what the curriculum is giving and giving. It it should be interesting for the each and every student, and as each and every student is there for their own personal development, not as a development as the whole class or the whole school. So I personally believe that individual development can only lead us to the societal development, and our education system really need to focus on that. Thank you.
I love the last sentence you said that individual development can lead to societal development. And also, I feel like the curriculum is to be blamed because my friend from school, she's studying in Chennai right now, and she's also in NEP batch, but her college hasn't forced her to take subjects from the science stream or the commerce stream. She has the choice. Either she can choose it, or either she can just choose to continue with her other subjects. So I feel like this is one important part of it. The curriculum is to be blamed, personally, I would say. Well spoken, Safia, and I totally forgot about Avni. So Avni, you can go next.
Good evening, everyone. So, from this topic of education, whether it's allowed to think or it makes us to obey, I would like to highlight the topic of how Indian education makes goes into making earners, or it focuses on generating a workforce rather than generating a individuals full of thinkers. Students are prepared to serve economic structures rather than to think, to foster self curiosity, to practice their creativity. Mm, we are producing mainly earners and not thinkers. I know this is something out of the topic, but when it comes to being successful, we are always told that people who are earning more or who are cracking the huge bulky packages from their colleges are only the successful people that are alive. When coming to my own experience, when I was in 10th class, and when it was the decision to take whether I have to take up humanities, commerce, or science in class 11th and 12th, I was told to take up either commerce or science so that I can have a good job, and or so that I can settle after taking these particular streams of science and commerce. And stream of humanities was often looked as students who score less are more advised to take humanities in their school background. So I think this is where education leads us. We are encouraged to be more wealthy after, and our parents also see education as an investment rather than being uh, given education. We are they are thinking that if they are spending money or on us, they are thinking that they are trying to invest, and they are expecting a return of investment from it. And we are made to follow a pattern, like first you do your 12th class, then go to a good college, then land a good job, and then you are settled. But what is the point of getting that job if we have not learned anything out of it? So I think education in India is mainly
in current scenario we are compared from our cousins that he is currently placed at a very good job, and what are you doing now? You are sitting at home only, doing internships and not doing any job. So we are made to obey, we are made to follow that idea that if your education is able to get you a wealthy package or job, then you are only educated. The person who is, let's say if there are two peoples, and the person who is having a good job with higher salary, then he or she might be called more educated and more successful. So this my whole opinion on this topic. Thank you.
Okay, so firstly, just don't be nervous. Just speak what you have in your mind, okay? Don't be nervous. And you spoke very well. And also about the whole earning part, yes, that's true. People always compare us to others. Like it comes from the childhood. हमारे पेरेंट्स उनसे कंपेयर करते हैं जिनको ज्यादा नंबर आते हैं, उसको इतने नंबर आ गए, तुझे क्यों नंबर नहीं आए, तेरे ये मार्क्स कहाँ कटे, वहां कहाँ कटे. The comparing thing is still in there. Very well spoken, Avni. And now I would like to invite Janvi.
Hello everybody. I'm so sorry for my tone. I'm very ill. Am I echoing? Am I echoing? Am I echoing? Am I echoing?
Yes, you are echoing.
Can you hear me now?
What?
I'll sleep and join back.
Okay, okay. So let's move on to Sneha.
Hi all, am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Okay, so in my opinion, Indian schools in their current state often seems to prioritize obedience over originality. And like despite the 21st century learning and much of the system remains rooted in the memorization, rigid hierarchies and exam-oriented evaluation. Even after NEP, we are at a crossroad, whether to focus on obedience or rather promote creativity. Students who are more obedient are given more benefits in the school system, and we cannot blame the students entirely or the structure entirely. I would say it is the Indian society. Indian society, from traditions, as mentioned by other previous colleagues as well, prioritizes always saying something against the adults is seen as a sin. So in such a society, we cannot come at a curriculum which focuses solely on students. They focus on earning more or focus on like approving it from the elders. Even when we look at the higher ranking officers or those who make curriculum for us, they are like above 60 years old or something of the age, and not youngsters who make the curriculum for us. So how can they know what we students like? We are like Gen Zs or after 2000s. How officers who are more than 60 years can make a curriculum for us? There's a huge generation gap in that sense. And also when it comes to subjects like political science, I'm a political science honor. So when we are focusing on that, we can see that a strict division between science and humanities course. But when it comes to like ancient time, we had Aristotle, who was father of political science as well as father of biology. Can we see some students like that nowadays? We can't, because the strict division, and classrooms rarely have the flexibility to encourage open debate or interdisciplinary thinking. And when it comes to subjects in social science classes, as mentioned by previous colleagues as well, like even discussions on caste, gender, or any other subjects are often prohibited. Like they are often sensitized or discouraged to maintain neutrality. In science and also in experimentation and innovation, that takes exactly like what was done by Isaac Newton or someone who was born centuries before us. Innovative thinking is not at all promoted in schools nowadays. I think that's the problem with the curriculum. And when it comes to India specifically, India's obsession with entrance exam like JEE, NEET, or CUT. Even in government schools, I studied in a government school, so some of my friends came to government school because they can, like in government school, the curriculum is not that much hard, so they can focus entirely on the entrance exam. So our obsession with the entrance exam is too much, and everyone follow the same path, either JEE, NEET, or CUT, and ended in the same job, like civil service, doctor, or engineering. We don't have the other options. So one thing that Indian education lacks clearly is innovation, even in terms of curriculum or anything like extracurricular activities. Even in extracurricular activities, government schools hardly promote extracurricular activities, and private schools, whereas they have separate clubs or they boast of clubs, art societies, some of all those stuffs. But government schools hardly have these societies. So there's a clear division between that also. Yeah, that's all I want to say.
Well spoken, Neha, about the whole India needing innovation. And I completely agree with the point that sorry, sorry for that, the leaders or the bureaucrats who make all these whole curriculum at 60 plus, they totally do that. And the question you asked that about can a student learn biology along with political science? That should depend on what the student want. It should not be like forcing, because in my college, in my first and second year, they literally forced us to take the subjects. And I had chosen maths, just like I had mentioned before. It was very difficult for me because the gap between the teachers and us was extremely big. They were PhD holders, and we were like कीड़े मकोड़े के type थे यार, हमको कुछ नहीं आता था. We needed basics, but the basics were not clear. So that's one point, and I love the way you brought about the whole innovation thing. And yes, Janvi can go next if she's okay with that.
Hey, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
First of all, I'm very sorry about my very unpleasant tone. I'm very ill, so I'm
No,
so
no,
sorry
no.
about that. So, for me as a law student, I want to bring about a more legal and also statistical approach to this question about how we are learning about how schools teach us only to obey and not think at all. You can bring down the percentage of our conformity to almost like 0%. Like we can't learn anything new, we can't question what is already established. Like, do you remember how in like 8th grade we used to go up to the teacher and be like, ma'am, why am I not given marks for this? And they go, I'm so sorry, it's not given in the textbook. Where did you get this information? It's not even credible. I'm like, I learned it. I have other sources, other credible sources where I could actually learn this information from. But no, that was not encouraged at all, because according to history, Vedic period was from 1500 to 1000 BC. But no, they were overlapping periods. We have a lot to learn about them. But of course, then again, we are not allowed to do that. Second key question, as an ICSE student, I recently heard someone saying in CBSE curriculum, they did not know about the Cholas, the Pandyas, the Guptas. I mean, what? But they were still taught about the World War. They were taught about, French Revolution. They were taught about how the Egyptian culture, the Greek architecture. Like, why aren't you taught about India? You are a student in the Indian education system. Why aren't you taught about it? Third, how many government schools till class 12 have moot court competition, MUNs, or debate competitions? How are you letting the government students decide if they want to become a lawyer or not without giving them an opportunity to even, you know, be curious about something? Like, I'm into debating, but like no one ever came up to me and said, here you go, there's a competition, you have to just participate. You don't have to win, just participate. I had an opportunity, touch wood, but government schools don't. Most government school students do not have the idea about moot courts or man. They'll be like, what is that? We have never been taught about it. So that's one of the key aspects. Next one, 2024 NEET, around 24 lakh people gave NEET exam, right? And because of the scam that happened, there were around 23.5 lakh students who did not know what to do. And statistically, in 23.5 students, around 70% of the students were forced to write NEET. I gave NEET that year, but I wasn't forced to. I gave it out of choice. But almost 70%, can we even imagine that number? Even if we take a crore, then that's around 70 lakh people being forced to write NEET. But why? There are people who are genuinely interested in becoming doctor, but maybe they don't have the resources. Next coming, India boasts around 24.8 crore students across 14.72 lakh schools. I mean, the number is huge. The number is literally the same as many countries' population integrated together. But only 69% of the government schools have around 50% of the students enrolled. Those are the government schools I'm talking about. An ASER report says that 23.4 of class 3 students cannot read what a class 2 student of a private school can read. Why? Then there's a 27% students who can't solve basic subtraction problems in the government schools. Why? And these are class 8 students that I'm talking about who can't subtract. Like they don't know what 24 minus 21 is. They don't know. They don't know the concept at all. Then coming to the Indian Skills Report 2024, 65% of the youth of India are formally educated and can be employed. There are multiple programs that are being brought up as an initiative. The NEP was also one of them. But clearly there is a huge difference between what it is on the textbook level and what is actually being implemented on the ground level. So that is one of them. 60% of government schools teachers actually conform to traditional lecturing methods. They are not. Okay, so as a chemistry student, you are taught that sodium reacts with water, but why? We are never taught that. We are never taught, we are never allowed to question it. We are never allowed to say, ma'am, I want to know the reasoning behind it. She's like, I don't know. You have to figure it out by yourself. And you're not supposed to write that in the paper because they won't give you marks. And what is the obsession with the examination pattern? Like, I don't get it. You give an exam, you come back home and your parents are like, pass ho jayenge na? Like, why? As long as I know what I'm studying, as long as I know I have understood the concept as a whole, why am I supposed to conform to the textbook and like ratta maar ke kyun likhna hai padayega mujhe? That's one of the most, I think, problematic, concepts in the entirety of our education system. And I don't understand why students extracurriculars are discouraged because their examination marks are low. Like, where is the interrelation? Why is it that a person cannot go on and quit school at the age of 16, 17, 18, whatever, and go on to actually make a career in cricket, or maybe veena, or any musical instruments for that matter? Why are we not encouraged? Finland, being one of the most best education system in the world, follows an approach of student centric approach where students are, they are helped to be innovative. They are given opportunity to speak, opportunity to think, opportunity to question. But in India, that is always, always, always seen as a taboo. And I don't get it. And I think this is one of the most key problems which needs to be addressed in India's education system. Thank you.
Hey, I hope you're all right. Uh, okay, so yeah, I love the way you brought about the legal and the statistical data too. And it's quite shocking that the eighth grade students don't know how to do subtraction and this whole thing. And the whole curricular thing, I remember when I was in eighth, I used to do a lot of debates. I used to do a lot of debates and poetry competitions. And my parents went to my class teacher and said, कि इसको ज़्यादा मत करने दो. She needs to focus on education just because I scored less in maths. So I remember that whole thing. It happens from the base. Well spoken, Sneha. And now I would like to invite Sai. Uh, Sai, are you in the meeting?
Yes, hello.
Yes, you are audible.
So, hi, everyone.
Yes, you are audible.
Am I audible? Hello.
Yes, you are audible.
I think I'm facing some net issues.
Okay, just figure out and you can speak later, maybe
Uh,
after Praful or
can,
Sanvi.
hello, can you? Am I audible now?
Hey, so sorry for that. There's actually network issue right here. Yeah, so Sai, are you able to speak right now?
Am I audible now?
Yes, you're audible.
Okay. So hi all, like everyone rightly pointed out, most of you guys have said the things what I also wanted to say. Then, from my perspective, I think like the current education system of India is making us to like follow the things rather than being or making us to be more creative. And to say one thing is like our current NCRT. So we could see the trend where the NCRT year by year the quality of the NCRT is decreasing. And we could also for to justify this, I could say like where the government has taken some parts of Mughal Empire from NCRTs out. Like we could say the current NCRTs is being censored, and even our professors or the UPSC system is saying that they are forcing, not forcing, but they are encouraging us to study the old NCRTs. So comparing this old NCRTs and current NCRTs, like it's the others who is making us to follow or who's deciding us like what we should study. That is something I want to say about NCRT. Then about the current NEP system, where I am also an NEP student. Like Ishita has rightly said, where there are a lot of sex subjects which are more like innovative and more practical things. But it is making us to be like in exam point of view, where we are studying like in that sort. And also when I looked to the Delhi University syllabus of SEC, I could say like there are many super like very exciting subjects. Like I even feel why our college is not having all these subjects. So like even though the NEP is in paper it's very good, but in practical it is not that much. And also, and I'm a political science student, so I am learning more about my sex rather than my core paper subject. So it is giving us more assignments, more than exams, IA, CA, वगैरह things. Only we are only focusing on that thing, but even as a graduate student, I don't actually literally I didn't know anything about my core subject. So then to talk about my exams also, as a class 12 student, I was a government school student. There I see like even my friends or even I myself studied for exam point of view. Like I used to study from PYQs only. Like so I haven't knew anything new other than the whatever the same questions which is asking every year. Then and also when saying about the NCRTs, Wala, there are many blue boxes with many more informations. And also we usually don't read those things. We will just read only the main text which are given and the one about the assignments and activity group discussions mentioned in the NCRTs also we were not following that as well. So I could say like we are following only the rigid curriculum which is uh, I could say like I'm not getting this one. Just the curriculum. Sorry for the interruption. So, like, it is making us to study those rigid, structured things rather than creative things. Like Sneha also said, the current education system is having lack of innovation, where we could do something creative. Then even in for assignments also, I could say like most of us are using ChatGPT and other AI things which will like most of our assignments are doing by that only, and it will even though we'll get a good answer or good assignment things, but our capability of like analyzing or critical thinking is decreasing day by day. Like we are not forced to use our capabilities or our critical analysis for a thing. So we are entirely relying on that. So that's what I would say. Thank you.
Well spoken about the ChatGPT thing. I do that too sometimes, so I can't say anything about that. But yes, I use ChatGPT because our teachers are literally right now, they are telling us to submit assignments the very next day, like three assignments the very next day. So I don't have the time to use my brain. So yes, I'm using ChatGPT, but I don't use ChatGPT for everything. Just don't judge me, guys. All right. And also the thing she said about the whole I forgot. Wait, right? I forgot. Okay, so let's just move. If I remember, I'll just tell you guys. Let's just move to Praful.
Hello, I am audible.
Yes,
Hello.
you're audible.
Yes, yes, ma'am. I just want to give a short introduction. I am Praful Yadav. I'm a researcher, and I'll start my conversation with my story. तो मैं यूपी बोर्ड से हूँ, प्रॉपर गवर्नमेंट स्कूल से। एंड 11th में ऐसा हुआ था कि आई वाज अ पीसीएम स्टूडेंट। तो एक ट्रिग्नोमेट्री का एक क्वेश्चन था जो हमने उस तरीके से किया जिस तरीके से हमें मैम ने नहीं कराया था, बट द आंसर वाज सेम बट द मेथड वाज डिफरेंट, एंड आई गॉट 0 मार्क्स फॉर दैट, जस्ट बिकॉज कि जैसे हम पढ़ा रहे हैं वैसे ही करना है। ये आप अपना तरीका इसमें न्यू इजाद मत करो। एंड दैट वाज आल्सो अ वेरी राइट अप्रोच, बट चीज बस थोड़ी सी चेंज थी कि उनके हिसाब से हमने नहीं करा था। तो दिस सम्स अप माय थिंक कि ओबे और थिंकर बनने में दोनों में कितना ज्यादा डिफरेंस है। तो वो कंप्लीटली चाहते हैं कि हम सिर्फ और सिर्फ ओबे करें। एंड एज अ रिसर्चर स्टूडेंट ऑल्सो मैं ये बताना चाहूंगी कि there is a silent rule, and that rule is do not question your guide and do not challenge the existing theory. There is two silent rule, because the old method that the teacher knows everything, एंड ये यहाँ पे भी पूरी तरह से इम्प्लाई होता है कि आपको गाइड के अकॉर्डिंग ही सारे काम करने हैं। इवन अभी मैं एक यूजीसी रिपोर्ट भी मैंने पढ़ा। हमारे इंडिया में हर साल थाउजेंड्स ऑफ थीसिस प्रोड्यूस होती हैं, बट देर आर ऑफ नो यूज। उसमें से कुछ ही जो होती है वो प्रोडक्टिव होती है, बिकॉज क्योंकि हम सेम रिपीटेटिव कंटेंट पे स्टडी करना पसंद करते हैं। उसका एक रीजन है क्योंकि गाइड हमें ऐसा करने के लिए एनकरेज करते हैं कि बहुत इजीली डाटा कलेक्शन मिल जाएगा, बहुत इजीली तुम सब कर पाओगे। बीइंग अ सोशियोलॉजी स्टूडेंट, जैसे एक दौरी ऐसा टॉपिक है जिसपे हर चौथा इंसान जो है उस पे स्टडी कर रहा है, या अर्बनाइजेशन ऑफ फैमिली स्ट्रक्चर। तो ये सब टॉपिक्स वो हैं जो अभी तो और भी ज्यादा चेंजेस आ चुके हैं, तो अब उन चीजों पे बात करने की जरूरत है। अभी भी हमारे यहाँ पे एलजीबीटी क्यू कम्युनिटी के बारे में बात करने से उस पर रिसर्च करने से सोचते हैं कि उस पर डाटा कैसे मिलेगा, उस पर हम बात कैसे करेंगे। इवन आई एम परसुइंग द टॉपिक विच इज रिलेटेड टू मेंस्ट्रुअल हेल्थ। एंड अभी जब मैंने इस टॉपिक को प्रपोज करा था, आई एम फ्रॉम मीरठ कॉलेज फ्रॉम यूपी, स्मॉल टाउन एरिया। तो सभी लोग एकदम शॉक्ड हो गए थे कि ये बात भी कर सकते हैं क्या इसके बारे में, ये इसने एकदम आउट ऑफ द जोन जाके ऐसे टॉपिक कैसे बात कर दिया। तो उन्होंने इवन मतलब ये बोला, मैंने थोड़ा सा मतलब प्रेशराइज किया कि नहीं सर मुझे इसी पे ही वर्क करना है। तो सर वाज लाइक कि अब ठीक है तो फिर कर लेना अपने हिसाब से, बट डोंट इंक्लूड मी। या ऐसा भी होता है, दिस इज द सिनेरियो, दे आर रेपुटेटेड assistant professor and associate professor, and they were like I was talking to him, and we were talking about the research design, and we were talking about the area and something like that. एंड जैसे ही कोई उस डिपार्टमेंट में एंट्री करता था उस एरिया में, देन ही इज लाइक, वो बचते थे मेंस्ट्रुएशन शब्द बोलने से भी। वो उनको ये था कि अच्छा इसको ना ऐसे कर लेना। तो सर क्या? तो वो बोलते थे कि हाँ मतलब समझ गई ना तू। तो आज भी मतलब इतना फोबिया है, तो वही है कि हमें शुरू से वही पैटर्न में डाला गया है कि हमें सिर्फ ओबे करना है, हमें थिंक कर ही नहीं सकते हैं हम। इवन इन मेंस्ट्रुएशन वाली चीज में भी अगर आप देखेंगे तो हमें ना शुरू से यही सिखाया गया है कि हमें ना सिर्फ ओबे करना है, हमें मंदिर नहीं जाना, क्योंकि हमें वो सिखा दिया ओबे करना है, थिंक। तो अब मैं घर पे भी अगर बोले कि लेट्स जस्ट थिंक, कि हमें पूछना चाहिए कि मंदिर क्यों नहीं जाना है, एक बार सोचो इस चीज के बारे में। तो वो तो कॉन्सेप्ट ही नहीं है। तो वो हमें स्कूल से आया है, हमें फैमिली से आया है, वो हमें शुरू से एक रोट लर्निंग हमें सिखा दी गई है। एंड हम हमारे जितने भी एंट्रेंस एग्जाम्स होते हैं, आई थिंक 70 to 80% सभी एक मेमोराइजेशन पे ही बेस्ड है। अभी तक अगर कोई भी एक भी एग्जाम की प्रिपरेशन कर रहा होगा तो वो मेमोराइज ही कर रहा होगा। कॉन्सेप्चुअल नॉलेज बहुत ही सेकेंडरी है, उससे ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है कि आपने फैक्ट्स कितने ज्यादा रट रखे हैं। एंड दैट्स व्हाट आई वांट टू से, कि अभी भी आप एनईपी की बात ही अगर कर लें तो उसमें ऐसा जैसा कि सब लोगों ने बोला है कि वहां पे भी कोर जो फोकस है वो एग्जाम पास करने पे है। बीइंग अ रिसर्च स्टूडेंट हम लोग को भी जैसे जो किसी और बीएससी कर रहा है या फिर बीकॉम कर रहा है तो उसको सोशियोलॉजी सब्जेक्ट दिया जाता है, तो हमारे पे भी जो एक प्रेशर होता है वो ये होता है कि इनको ना पास करना है, उस हिसाब से एक एग्जाम बना के दे दो जिससे कि ये थोड़ा बेसिक बेसिक कर ले। उन्हें नहीं पता सोशियोलॉजी में क्या काम आता है, क्या टॉपिक्स है, क्योंकि इस पे टारगेट ही नहीं है, टारगेट है सिर्फ पास करना है। एंड पास करना इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट उनके लिए। एंड क्रिस्टी और जानवी ने जो बताया कि हमारा जो इंडिया है उससे अलग अगर हम देखेंगे तो फिनलैंड, इवन सिंगापुर, जापान, ये लोग एक क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग को अप्रोच करते हैं। ये लोग प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग, रियल लाइफ प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग को अप्रोच करते हैं ये लोग। बट अभी तो हम नहीं कर पा रहे हैं। पेपर में जो चीज है और जो रियल लाइफ का सिनेरियो है दैट इज वेरी डिफरेंट। सो दैट्स व्हाट आई वांट टू से एंड थैंक यू सो मच फॉर लिसनिंग मी।
The whole menstrual thing, it's still considered a taboo to talk about in public or in other places. Like दुकान में अगर आप पैड्स खरीदने जाओगे तो वो ऐसे पेपर में लेयर करके आपको देते हैं. I don't understand that thing. It's a very normal thing. It happens to almost every girl. So, and also, I just remembered what I wanted to say. So, I'm a political science student. I'm in third year right now. And IR, that is the international relations, is considered the base of political science. Like, बहुत important माना जाता है उसको. Major students, as a major student, I'm not reading IR. I'm just reading this foreign policy and stuff. And the minor students are reading IR. So anyone who just knows all this stuff will be very shocked because IR is the form, the basic of political science. So we are not learning that. So first, the curriculum is like that, and also the whole research thing. I'm very grateful that कि मेरी टीचर ने मुझे कभी ऐसा नहीं बोला कि तुमने ये टॉपिक क्यों चूज किया. We are also doing a research paper in our college for a third year topic, for a third year subject, that is क्या नाम है उसका, field project. तो उसके लिए भी हम कर रहे हैं. तो फिर हमको ऐसा नहीं बोला गया था. आई एम रियली ग्लैड कि हमको नहीं बोला गया था. एंड आई जस्ट इमेजिन कि कितना टैबू हो गया है ये सारी चीजें कि हम इनके बारे में बात ही नहीं कर सकते. दीज आर नॉर्मल थिंग्स एंड वी कांट टॉक अबाउट दीज थिंग्स. This is very ridiculous. Now I would like to invite Sanvi.
Yes, hi, am I audible?
Sanvi, okay. Yes, you're audible.
Okay, all right. So, whenever we're discussing and criticizing the education system, we usually criticize the policy and the reforms that are brought about in the policy, even NEP. But like the main aspect that actually requires change here are the teachers, because the teachers are at the forefront of the education system and they are the primary interaction that a student has with the education system. They are somebody that you interact with daily and talk to daily. They are how you get the knowledge and everything that is taught to you. So teachers treat you with such apathy, they do not provide you with any support at all. And the only way you can get into their good graces is when you get good marks, or if you're following orders and obeying them, that's the only way. So only, like, you must have noticed that the studious kids are the ones who are closer to the teachers and they actually get more internal marks and they're in better and good graces of the teacher. And in fact, if I talk about college, aside from schools, it is the teachers and their mentality and their approach and mindset to the education that is what needs to be changed. So I had only one professor, honestly, who used to, who used to introduce projects and ideas that actually stimulated our brains. The rest of them would be like, for your internals, write an essay, pick any topic that you want, just bring something, like a review of literature or an essay or a presentation. But like only one professor of mine used to give us projects that actually stimulated our brains and made us grow and express our opinions. And even sometimes, like, the professors are like, you can write your opinion, you can explain the concept in your own words, but they follow it up with these restrictions of you having to use keywords, and if you don't use them you won't get those marks. And even if you do write it in your in your own words, they do not provide you marks for it. It is it is not the understanding that is getting marked, but it is actually your textual intellect and how good or bad you are at rote learning the subject, so your individuality, your uniqueness, and your individual differences are something that are treated with absolute disrespect, monotony, and nonchalance in the education system. And sometimes teachers are also like, they promote discussion, but it is actually a formality, because when you repeatedly ask them questions and question them on it, on what they're teaching, or sometimes like if you did not understand a fact that was told by them, and they sometimes can't provide you with an answer back, and if you counter question them on it, or maybe point them out, ki, ma'am, you are incorrect here, they usually label you as like you are like battamiz. That's what they say, you know. So they also get irritated if you repeatedly keep asking them, and they even embarrass you in front of the entire class. They're like, I literally just taught this, were you not listening? This is so obvious. Does anybody else has this question? Only you are the one who has this question. So if you are facilitating a doubt solving session, shouldn't you respect the child for the questions that they are putting up instead of embarrassing them in front of the entire class? And testing students on how good they can rote learn, not their creativity, not their opinions, not how good their social and emotional learning is, it actually leads to panic attacks. I've seen so many of my classmates and students, they get a panic attack in the middle of an exam and lose so much marks, they even fail sometimes. So that is something that genuinely needs to, change, because it is discipline that is being respected and preferred and tested, and not your discussion or your power to ask the question why, because why is treated with disrespect. And the teachers are always in a hurry to finish the syllabus. They do not care about whether you understood the concept or not. It is just about how fast can they finish the syllabus before the date sheet comes or before the exams approach. So nobody tests the practicality of the subject. They just want you to mug up the concept that is being taught by them. Nobody cares about the understanding in the education system. So this needs to be changed. Thank you.
Okay, I'm not started. I went back to my room, got my pen drive.
It's sorry for that. Today is really bad. Uh, and I have done. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay, so Sanvi, I guess Sanvi is done. I'm really sorry, Sanvi, I wasn't able to hear your whole views. Now I invite Harshika. Is Harshika in the meeting? I don't think so. Okay, she's not in the meeting. So, Radhika, you can go next.
Hi, am I audible? Hello.
Yes, you're audible.
Yeah, so first of all, I'm very sorry for my voice. I'm just under the weather. And hi, everyone. Your views were amazing. I heard some of you guys. So, as to go about this topic, I chose the subtheme of access basically, because that is something that I have personally experienced and I would like to share it. So, as to see this topic, I would first want to give a brief introduction about myself so you know where I come from and how I see this topic. So I am currently in my first year BA LLB honors in National Law University, Sonipat, and I come from a very small town area of Haryana. So the access problem has been there, like very much there in my area. It's in Ambala. So like not in Ambala. Ambala is a great place, but a sub part of Ambala. So right now sitting here, Does my idea of question to access of education is a boon or bane? Because as sorry, I got a call. Because being here, after clearing CLAT, after taking a coaching, I believe this is something that a person like me shouldn't say, but a person who hasn't gotten it would say. But few of my experiences have told me of how people without this access would like to put their views forward in this policy month. So recently in my college, we went for a DLSA in DLSA Sonipat, where we collaborated with them and we went to different schools, basically girl child schools. And there we saw that they were very eager to know about this concept relating to CLAT, like how people are becoming. So first thing, that law as a field, it gives you such wings that you can reach as many heights as possible. You can be the next Indra Jaising. You can be the next Fatima Bibi or Bibi Nagaratna. So, or for a matter of fact, you can be your own self, and that would be great. So we went there, and the girl child were so excited to like meet us. They were looking at us like we were someone who they would want to be in good colleges where they would be respected, and government colleges which has accessible fees. Now the access that I want to talk about, it consists of economic access, the access that private school and government school debate that is going on, and there's a language access that I would want to talk about. So CLAT as an exam, so it was totally in English. As a person who is okay with English, I didn't find it that difficult, but I had few friends who did. So this language culture, I believe, the when an exam is being conducted at a national level, we cannot expect people to be equally fluent in English language. So I believe like UPSC is in different languages, and in like at least in the languages that are recognizable by our constitution. So I believe this examination should be conducted in all of the languages. And when we talk about the economic access, it is not just about the private school and government school debate. We are talking about the coaching culture. In my personal opinion, I would not like to offend anybody, but coachings are scam. I have been there. It was a total scam in my case. And I believe one could like clear examinations without coaching by self-study. But can we deny a student who just do not have economic access and give pedestal to a student who is having the economic access to get to a coaching? Good enough. And government schools are like not encouraging their students to be in extracurriculars. So there has been data which says that government schools have a lot of good extracurricular activities. Me being from a private school, but most of the competitions that I've been into were organized either by the Haryana Sarkar, which were in the government schools where there was equal or more participation by the government school students. So I believe this is a place where government schools would have a good like place. And then we were talking about chat GPT culture. So I had my first midsems over here in the college. So chat GPT culture is very much there. I have never used chat GPT before coming to college, but it was like my go-to. But do we actually our priorities, our interests, and our psychological impact that we get from our examination stress? That is what I would like to talk about. We do not go for our extracurricular activities or everything because I personally started till 5 a.m. in the morning for exam and then gave exam on 9 a.m. So that was something we were not focusing at all about our mental well-being. And that is one of the reasons why I'm under weather right now. So this is something that we must focus on while being in college. So education as a feature, I would say access, we need to grant it to everybody equally because the value of equity, it is way more priceless than like the measurable value of economics that we are having. So equity must be there for each students. The government has taken initiatives, but it could be better. So that is my stance on this topic. And yeah, now I'm also using ChatGPT, so can't say much wrong about it. That is my stance.
Well spoken. I wasn't able to hear your full speech because I just got left in the middle. But I heard the rest of it. And yes, coaching is a scam. Coaching is a very big scam. because my friends are going into coaching for UPSC and they are not able to write a simple answer in English. So yes, coaching is a scam. And also, I just want to say about ChatGPT thing. I also use ChatGPT. There's nothing to be ashamed about, I think. But yeah, please don't judge me for this. Um, I use ChatGPT mostly for my assignments, so I hope that's all right. I think we're done with whoever has written their names in the chat box. Is there anyone else who wants to speak? Because I have a list of people who are in the meeting but haven't spoken anything. Uh, is there anyone who wants to speak? John, Jeffrey, then there is Sagar, there's Priyanshi. Ishika gave her views in the chat box. Harshika was traveling. Is Do you guys want to speak? Because I can still see you. You are guys in the meeting. AM, John, Jeffrey, you are in the meeting. Do you want to speak? I guess no. All right. Thank you so much, guys, for joining the Policy Manthan, and I really appreciate your views and the way you all spoke about the whole thing. Thank you very much for joining, and please keep speaking like this and keep expressing your views in the Policy Manthan. Thank you so much. You may leave this meeting now. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye, everyone.